Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and welcome to the French Seams. Thank you very much for joining me for today's video. So it is now August, prime holiday season. I'm looking outside at the lovely blue sky here in Dublin. So over the summer, over the past few weeks, I've been very fortunate enough to have been away on a few trips. So a few weekends away, a few long weekends away and longer holidays as well. There's been planes, there's been boats, there's been buses, there's been cars. And I'm always very conscious about what I pack, that I don't overpack, that I don't underpack, and what I pack all my bits and bobs in. And I do have a few patterns that I would love to share with you that might help you. Maybe it's too late for your holiday now, but hopefully for next year, in how you pack, what you pack, and what you pack your things in. So shall we get started? So basically this is a roundup of me-made items or patterns that I have used to help in my packing, and then a few at the end that I would like to try in future. So shall we get started? So I do have a vlog on my channel. I'll pop a link up here and down below, and it is my favourite bag patterns because I love making bags. So there were 6 that I discussed in that video. One was a little jewellery bag that you can pull together. It's a little drawstring bag with a number of pockets. It opens flat. That's brilliant for travel. Then of course there's the Apex Tote. That's by Incomplete Stitches. A lovely big tote bag. Very, very roomy. I brought that last year as carry-on with my sewing machine in it, just to give you an idea of how versatile that bag is. There's also the Sew Over It tote pack, which is a lovely tote bag that you can put on your shoulder, but then it converts very cleverly into a backpack, which is very, very useful. I took that on our beach holiday last year. There is of course the Adam Sews caddy, which you can see over here, which you may or may not travel with depending on your holiday. I have certainly travelled with that to a sewing retreat. It's perfect to put all your sewing bits and bobs in. Then there's the Claudia Cubic bag. That's a pattern by Ellie and Mac, and that's what I put all my makeup in. It zips up from both sides, opens flat. I made the medium, which is very, very roomy. You can of course make the large version, which you would fit the entire kitchen sink in. That's very, very useful for travel. And then of course there's a tote bag. It's called the So Much Space Tote, and that is a pattern that was released last year by my lovely friend Sam, So Let's Sparkle, and that's just a fabulous tote bag that holds a multitude, and of course that's perfect for travel as well. So I'll have popped in a few pictures of those here, so I won't go into those in more detail, but as you can see, those would all be very, very useful for travel as well. So the patterns that I want to share with you today in a little bit more detail, I've split them into categories. The first category is when you're actually packing, what can help you in your packing adventures. I don't mind packing, I quite enjoy it. I have everything laid out, what I need to bring. Usually I then half it to make sure that I don't bring too much. But one thing I always pack with me, and I find it very, very useful, is this. And this is actually a pattern that I got in a book a long time ago, so I'll link that down below. It looks like a simple drawstring bag, but it's quite sturdy. It's got a lovely box step bottom here. I put in this beautiful pink glittery fabric. It is quite sturdy because it has fusible fleece in it. But the reason it's sturdy also is to protect what's inside. So if I can show you like this, it's just scrap fabric, nothing matches. You can see that it's divided into sections, so you can put in all your big bottles, so things like a big bottle of shampoo, big bottle of deodorant, hairspray, whatever you need to bring on your holidays. So if I flip this inside out, you can see exactly what I mean. So here's the base, and then you can see all these pockets on the inside. So very, very roomy. You can do them whatever size you like. So I've done a few big, I've done a few small. It's a really, really handy bag to have. And of course then it just, when you've got all your bottles inside, you can of course fit a bottle in the middle as well. You tie it up like this and everything is safe and contained. So I think this is a really, really useful pattern. I'm sure you could pick up a free pattern for this. I'll link a few below that I found, but this is very, very useful. I call it a bottle holder, but it's not really a bottle holder. I'm not even sure what to call it. It's a nice kind of travel storage case, let's call it that. Next up is patterns from my lovely friend Adam Sews, and he has a fabulous set of patterns called the Trio of Pouches. I haven't done the trio, this is more a duet. This is the medium version. As you can see, the zip is all fully bound. It's really nice, it's got little tabs here that help you opening it. If I open it, it's all fully quilted inside, and here is the smaller version, so that's why I just have a trio. These I find really, really useful for travelling. It's great for makeup. My little boys use them for colouring pencils. It's really, really handy just to fit a whole host of things, and because they're padded, they're quilted, and they're quite sturdy, and of course they'll protect whatever's inside. So these are really, really useful. These can fit in your suitcase, and of course these can certainly fit in any handbag you have as well. Next up is another pattern that I got from a book, and this is by Stuart Hillard, and it's kind of like a roll-up kind of travel wash bag, I think I'll call it. So it's in this fabulous peacock fabric that I got a number of years ago, which I just love. It's kind of a border print, which is why I was able to use a different fabric for different sections. So you tie it here with little ties, then you can open it. You could even hang it up on the bathroom door, which is very useful. It has a bag section here, which is again quite sturdy. It comes with foam as well, and just got nice lining on the inside that zips up, so you can put all your bottles, your makeup, whatever you want in this side. And then the rest of it folds out like this. So the top section has a little zip here, and this is a little vinyl section. Again, you can put creams, makeup, whatever you want. And then this section has a handy little flap like this, and this is where you can store toothbrushes or makeup brushes, things like that. Is all divided into sections, and one bigger section along here as well. And then this flap's closed, you wrap up the bag, wrap it all together, and everything is all neat and tidy. So I find this really, really useful for traveling. You can pop it in and out of whatever bag you're using. Next up, and this is just a completely self-drafted thing, it's a little tiny drawstring bag, and I made this recently because I had this beautiful Indian block print fabric and I made pajamas, and I had a bit of fabric left over, so I decided to make a pajama bag, which is lovely if you're staying in a hotel. You can pop your pajamas in and just put them onto the bed. It's really nice to keep them all nice and self-contained. So these drawstring bags are very, very handy. So I use this one for pajamas, but I do have a number of them that we use. I've got about 4 or 5 totally self-drafted drawstring, a couple of rectangles, a little channel and a drawstring, and I use them as laundry bags. So when we're traveling, so then we can just bring home all the laundry, everything gets put straight in the washing machine. It makes life so much easier. So these drawstring bags are terribly, terribly useful. I'll pop in a few rough dimensions in the box below if you want to make your own one, but they're very, very cute as well, and it's a lovely way of using up your nice little fabric, little stash fabric, because it doesn't take much fabric at all, and of course you can mix and match to your heart's desire. The next up is, I made this pretty recently, so I've got a couple of these. This is the Studio 77 Boxy pouch that the lovely Emma did in a sew along earlier this year. I do believe you can now buy the pattern. I'll link that again down below. I made this for Mr. French Seams for Father's Day, but the point I wanted to make was, this is a very, very handy wash bag size bag, and an extra thing that I did in this one was I put in some PUL fabric, which is very, very useful. It's kind of a wipe clean, almost like a baby bib fabric, and it's perfect for these kind of wash bags in case you do have any spillages, which sometimes unfortunately does happen. I also have one of these Boxy pouches, and I put my knitting in it, which of course is perfect for traveling. So that's the Boxy pouch, very, very useful. So now that you've packed your bag, when you're actually traveling, what will make your life a little bit easier? So first up, I want to show you this, and I made this for Stitch Festival in March of this year, and it's a free pattern for a little lanyard and a little wallet, and I use this to hold my phone. And this is very, very useful if you're in an airport, if you're in a boat, wherever you want a little bit more security. Of course, you have the lovely lanyard, and then you've got a little swivel clip and these two things here, which do come off separately as well, depending on your day. So this is a little purse, and you can fit money in here, you can fit cards in here, and this then is very, very useful for my phone. Of course, it's fully padded as well, so it keeps your phone nice and safe, and this is just very, very handy for traveling as well. Put it around your neck for a bit of extra security, or even in your handbag, and of course you can pull it out very, very easily. You could of course attach keys here as well, so everything is nice and self-contained here. So again, lovely free pattern. I'll link it down below, and this comes together really, really quickly. It's really, really good fun. Of course, an opportunity to put on a little label, of course. So that's very useful. Another thing when you're traveling, of course, is where to put all your passports, all your documents, all that kind of stuff. And I made this earlier in the year as well, and I found it very, very useful. This is the Atlas zipper pouch, and I've done a kind of quilted front, you can see here, again in that pink glittery fabric, popped in a little label handmade. It's fully bound on the outside, and this reminds me of the pencil cases I used to have when I was a child. So it zips up fully here, so it's all nice like this, and then it opens like a book. And I find this really, really useful when traveling. Apologies for the shine on the vinyl. It's got a big vinyl pocket here, a small vinyl pocket here, and then a small covered pocket here. You could of course mix and match, whatever, depends on your situation. It's got 2 big slip pockets on the sides as well, and I find this very, very useful. I take this on planes because you can fit all the passports in here, you can fit anything else you need on the plane in here. I put my Kindle in here, of course it's fully protected. It's very, very useful, and again then of course it's fully secure, all zipped up, and you can pull it out straight away from your handbag. I find this really, really useful from traveling. Of course this is probably meant for sewing supplies, but I think it's perfect for traveling, and of course a great opportunity to use up little bits of scraps fabric and make it look really, really pretty for your family adventures. You could put tickets, boarding cards, everything in this. I find it really, really useful, and this gets an awful lot of use when I'm traveling. When you're traveling, you need to be hands-free, of course, and for that I always rely on my trusty Hipster pouch, which is again by the lovely Adam Sews. I made this a couple of years ago, so it's lovely and quilted. It's got a wonderful front pocket, again useful for your phone or anything you need to grab very, very quickly. The inside then I've got lined in flamingos, of course, and it's beautifully bound in a little rainbow fabric, and this is very, very useful for traveling. You put a crossbody, it's close to your body, everything is safe and secure. I think it's really, really handy, and just it's a really fun project to do. So I love this Hipster pouch. I wouldn't be without it. Always in my Hipster pouch you'll find my sunglasses case. I'm wearing them today, but usually my sunglasses live in here. This is a fabulous tutorial by my lovely friend again, Sam Sola Sparkle. She did it for the Sew Skin Summer Challenge this year, and it's a fabulous little tutorial to fit your sunglasses in when you're traveling. Again, it's got a bit of fusible fleece to keep them nice and protected, because we've all been there with scratched sunglasses. It's not pretty. So this is very, very useful, and this sits quite happily in my Hipster pouch as well. Also, when you're traveling, you might need to bring a tablet, a laptop, whatever it is. I made this iPad tablet case a couple of months ago for Mr. French Seams, entirely self-drafted. He just requested one day because the iPad needed somewhere safe to live. And it's basically, I just had some leftover denim, I quilted it, and then I bound the edges, and then it's lined in a little bit of a floral. I put a cheeky floral on the inside, and it's very, very handy for keeping, again, the iPad or tablet or laptop, whatever it is, safe and secure. I just totally self-drafted this based on the size of our tablet, but I'll pop a few links below where there's lovely tutorials on how to make your own one or how to follow a pattern as well. I think it's very, very useful. Again, this can then slip into a handbag or backpack, whatever you like. There's one more thing as well when you're traveling, and hopefully it doesn't happen, but you might need a little first aid kit. And I made these little things last year for a gift in November. I don't have any on me because they've all been gifted, but I'll pop in a picture here. They're called an ouch pouch, and they are the cutest thing ever. The front is a little bit of patchwork in a little cross to show it's a bit medical, and then it's got a zip top, and inside I put things like a few plasters, hand sanitizer, some creams, some lotions, whatever you need, and I think it makes a fabulous little travel first aid kit. Hopefully you'll never need it, but of course it's there if you do. So now that you've done all your packing, everything is packed safely away, everything is very, very efficient, what do you pack everything in? So I have a couple of suggestions. I recently made a number of backpacks. So these are the two for my boys here. This is the fabulous pattern, the Acorn Backpack by my lovely friend Adam Sews. So I made one for baby French seams, one for older French seams, and then of course I had to make one for myself. I just sized up the pattern. So backpacks obviously are a fabulous way of traveling. They fit a multitude. These backpacks hold an awful lot. They're very, very roomy, a load of pockets for everything you want to bring, and of course again they're hands-free, which of course is very useful traveling with children, to have a backpack and a crossbody bag, my Hipster pouch. Very, very good holding hands. So these backpacks are just fabulous. I'll link that pattern down below. I'll link also another video where I go into it in more detail, but fabulous backpack, big huge roomy front pocket, huge big base, and then lovely pocket on the inside as well. Wonderful, wonderful pattern. If you are just traveling in a car or something like that, if you're just going for a day with the beach, whatever, I love these huge big tote bags. And I think this one by the lovely Luke, who's the winner of Sewing Bee last year, they very kindly gifted me this pattern earlier in the year, and it is the Painter's Tote, and it is just fabulous. It carries a multitude. It's a huge big lined bag, loads and loads of pockets, but there's about 7 or 8 pockets. It holds loads. I had a little patchwork to the front, but if you're going for a day for the beach, if you're heading out and about, this kind of tote bag is really, really useful just to fire everything in. Towels, swimming togs, a picnic, everything. I think these are absolutely fabulous. There's a couple of bags that I haven't made yet that I'm really, really keen to, and one again is an Adam Sews pattern, and it's his duffel bag. It looks absolutely wonderful. I'll pop in a picture of it right here. I'm very, very keen to get that made up. I would also like to make a garment bag, so I've never made one of these, and I think it's Friday Pattern Company have a free version. I'll pop in the picture here. If you're traveling to a wedding or a formal event and you need something to keep your garments very safe and secure, maybe hung up in the back of the car, these garment bags look absolutely wonderful. I would definitely like to try one of these. My lovely friend Christine from Christine Sews a Lot, I'll link her channel down below. She had a video up recently, and she went through a few travel necessities as well, which is really great. And she of course mentions a type of garment bag. It looks really, really great. And she also made mention to a shoe bag, which I would like to make as well, because I think we're all guilty of flinging our shoes into a suitcase, and of course that's detrimental to all your lovely me mates if you're packing them all together. So I think a shoe bag would be very, very useful, and I'll pop in a few of my suggestions down below as well. So they are all my ideas for packing and for travelling. Have you made any of these? Do you have any other suggestions? I would love to hear from you. Of course, I'm always open to new bag and new suggestions. And then of course I'd have to go on holiday to try them out. If you like this video, I would very much love it if you give me a thumbs up, and hopefully please consider subscribing. I do hope this has been useful, and I hope you're able to use these in your own holidays going forward as well. Thank you very, very much for joining me, everybody. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the week and happy sewing, and I will talk to you all again very soon in another video. Take care, everyone. Bye.